Whenever I get asked who my favorite goalie of all time is, I always say number 1's Carey Price, number 2's Mika Kiprusoff. To round out the top 3 though, it's gotta be Marc-Andre Fleury. He gets taken first overall in an absolutely stacked 2003 draft. Like seriously, go look at some of the names part of that one. It's looked at as one of, if not the deepest draft ever. He was the first big name to join the Penguins as part of this new core that now is just legendary. He was also the first to be forced to leave the core, but we'll get to that in a minute. I remember seeing him come in, this young French kid with the slick back hair and the big smile. Tons of personality, seemed like a great dude. You could tell that he was going to be a fan favorite, and he became one pretty much immediately. He did have that really unfortunate own goal against the US at the World Juniors, but man, I remember growing up and thinking Fleury was just so cool. Everything from the yellow pads, the pranks, to even him playing PSP with Sidney Crosby on the plane. Then when he made that signature save on Nick Lidstrom to win the Stanley Cup, that was it. He was officially one of my favorite goalies. Fast forward all these years later, Fleury's now a member of the Minnesota Wild, who just confirmed yesterday that they will not be trading him at the trade deadline and that they are, quote, happy to keep him. Look, part of this certainly could be that he has an .899 save percentage and Minnesota doesn't want to sell low on him. They still believe they can make the playoffs and he can help with that. I do wonder how much of this though is Bill Guerin wanting to do right by a player who's one of the most well-respected, beloved in the entire league, who chose to sign in Minnesota and maybe wants to stay there, and may not have the same value that he even had just a couple of years ago as a starting goaltender, but off the ice, in the dressing room, with his teammates, and with the fan base with that charisma we talked about at the beginning of the video. That's why I'm conflicted about this news. On the one hand, I'm happy for him. He gets to stay in Minnesota where he's clearly set down some roots, and he's connected with that team. But on the other hand, this guy's only missed the playoffs twice, and one of them was in his rookie season where he only played 21 games, and the other one was the season after that. He hasn't missed the playoffs in almost 20 years. Who knows if this is his last season or not, but he's 39 years old and his contract is up at the end of this year. If he does hang him up at the end of the season, I'd be pretty sad to see him not make the playoffs in his last year in the NHL when he had such a long streak of making it. And call me crazy, I know $8.99 doesn't look good, but I do still think he's got some good games, some quality starts left in him, and he could play some good hockey for a playoff team as long as his workload is managed. I'm not saying Minnesota's going to miss 100%, but they're 6 points out right now. They need to go on a heater, plus they need the Kings or Preds to falter, plus they need to leapfrog over Calgary and St. Louis. It's definitely not likely. But hey, Fleury seems to have had a ton of fun with that team since he's been there. It's a good franchise, good organization. If this is what he wants, all you can do is be happy for him. Man, I would have loved to see him become a Leaf or an Oiler though, even just for a little bit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and who are your top 3 favorite goalies of all time? Let me know. That's going to be fun to read all the different combinations of guys I'm going to see down there. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.